Hey everyone. Okay, so today I want to talk about 5 ways or techniques and tips you can use to decrease a headache. Okay, so these span a little bit of traditional Chinese medicine, kind of acupuncture points, as well as more movement, as well as more various different techniques across different disciplines. So the first one, this sounds funny, but it's an interesting thing, and if you want immediate relief right away, it works, but it's not permanent in my opinion, in my experience. So basically, you take your hands, grab your hair, and lightly pull up. The more broad you can get your pressure, the more broad you can get your pressure, the better, and probably you'll feel the best on the sides. But basically, you just hold and pull up. So you're pulling actually not one hair, you're pulling like almost like the top of your scalp, almost the skin away from your head. It relieves pressure and almost immediately will decrease your headache. No guarantees, but I found it extremely effective. So if you just like, it hurts so much right now, up and hold. Okay, number one. Number two, find the spot between your thumb and first finger, right between here, the soft spot, kind of more along the line of this first bone here, this second metatarsal it's called. There's a soft spot right between, and there'll be a tender area. So in traditional Chinese medicine, this is called large intestine 4. It's a point that's used for headaches often. So basically just push on that. You can do both hands, you'll find one might be more tender than the other one. It's super effective. I've heard. I shouldn't say I haven't used it a ton. I don't get a lot of headaches, but that's something you can try. Number three is, this is an interesting one. So hands on your thumbs on your temples, fingers on your forehead, and you can even like go down almost like a stress, like elbows on the desk kind of thing if you're sitting down, or on your knees. So this does a couple things. So there's a lot of acupuncture points, meridian points, and all that up here. Your sinuses, your frontal sinus actually sits right here, so it can help relieve some pressure and tension. Not its main thing, I wouldn't say it's the main benefit. But when we're stressed in particular, when we're mind is racing, when we're in that kind of fight or flight mode, a lot of the time the blood is moved to the back of our head, which is where our amygdala lies, our brainstem lies. Okay, so the more primitive, you could say, aspects in like brain neurology, right? So when we're stressed, that like amygdala turns on, the fear response. So the blood's shunted more to the back of the head, okay? Which is sometimes where we also get tight because oftentimes we're like this on the desk, right, or on our phones. And so whenever we apply pressure somewhere on the body, if you just like push right now on your palm or on your wrist, and you move your hand, if you do it long enough, you know how it turns like white when you're pushing, right? Because you're pushing blood away because the pressure. You move your hand, it turns red. And that redness is just blood flowing into the area. So we can stimulate blood flow by pressure. Okay, so by applying your fingers like this, you're bringing blood flow to the front of your head, which is the thinking part of the brain, the frontal lobe. It's the reasoning part of your brain. It gets away from the more emotional, mental stress aspect. So it depends on where your headache is and the reason for it. But that can be an interesting one. It also helps you focus, helps you calm down, which, you know, will have a beneficial effect in many ways on stress levels and potentially headaches. So I haven't tried that a ton again when I get a headache, but give that a whirl. I think that will be effective. That's number three. Number four, cold exposure. So this is an interesting one. I've talked about cold a fair amount in this channel. I had more than, I'm going to make more videos in the future on it likely, but basically when you're exposed to cold, specifically on your face, your ears, your neck, it activates what's called the vagus nerve. I'll put a link in the description about that vagus nerve. So it's our rest and relaxation. It reduces stress in the body. It's the opposite of the the opposite of the sympathetic stress, I'm freaking out response. And so that runs right on the front of our neck here. It runs up behind our ears. There's branches into our face, into our ears, specifically into our ear points. And so if you apply cold, I put my face in just like a tub of cold water, as cold as you can handle but not painful. And then also put your ears in it to activate that. It feels really good. You know, we know that splashing cold water on our face feels good. One of the reasons why is because it's activating that nerve. And you can even put it in your neck or a cold shower, a little more extreme. Okay, cautious with this next one. If you have blood pressure issues, stroke, or anything, really big disclaimer here, but like what I do is I put cold pack right on here on my neck. It's incredible for calming you down, and I haven't tried it with a headache, but it should work quite well. So again, cautious with that one, really cautious with that one. Aneurysms, anything like that, like, you know, so just be careful. But like I do that on both sides, one side at a time, and it does wonders. Even back into your neck, into this area where the headaches often lie, which is where the little muscles are that often make headaches hurt, make your headache, is because it helps relax that. Okay, even into your eyes, onto your forehead, behind your ears is a good place as well, right in behind that ear where that vagus nerve comes out. So cold exposure can be extremely beneficial, okay, for a myriad of different things, but for headaches it should help as well. Number 5, what I have here, this is an interesting one. So if you lay down your back, put your hands, intertwine your fingers like this, put your hands right kind of the bone in the back, and then just underneath it, you can kind of span the bone and underneath it. And you can just stand here like this. Now this should help your headache. You're applying pressure to the area where usually you get a headache and it hurts. So sometimes it makes it worse, but it's helping relieve it as well sometimes. Or you can lay down on your back like this. Okay, so the pressure on that point, you can even put your hands a little higher so it hits that kind of ridge on the middle of your head. If you just go like this down, I don't know if you can see, yeah. Down like this, you feel like a ridge, and then eventually it'll just get soft, which is your neck. You'll feel the start of a bone, and then like a ridge. That ridge point is a good place to apply pressure as well. It's used sometimes in what's called craniosacral therapy to really relax and have a bunch of benefits to the body. So just lay on your back with your hands like that. Find a spot that feels relieving. Again, depending on where your headache is, this could be, oh, it's not comfortable, but give it a try. It could be really beneficial. You can also see, this is kind of number 6. I'm not going to go into detail here, but if you just make figure 8s with your eyes, so slowly make a figure 8, you'll find one of the corners hurts. And you're using your eye muscles to move around like this, and these are connected to the muscles of the back reflexively called your suboccipitals. This is the occipital bone, sub being underneath. So it's often, where we massage if it hurts. Another great way if you have a headache, just massage those muscles in the back here. But you can find that point and then kind of play with your eyes, move them around, and that can sometimes help release some stuff. I won't go too into detail there. If it makes your headache worse, obviously stop. If you feel dizzy, stop. But those figure 8s can be really powerful, also for just balance. Again, mood, mind regulation. It helps balance a lot of things in the body. Helps your cerebellum as well with movement and coordination. Less so than some things, but it really helps with kind of coordinating your brain back. Yes, so I hope that helps. There's 5.5 ways to potentially help your headaches, and I hope it helps. Awesome.